So thanks for tuning in. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my videos. You get notice as soon as they drop. I focus on the kind of leadership, organizational development videos that help anyone from small practitioners, solo practitioners, all the way up to large corporations about how do you develop leadership, how do you develop team, how do you align, how do you make the most of the people you have with the brains you got. So today I'm going to be working here in just a moment with a friend of mine who's starting his own business. Here's the questions that I'm going to be asking him. First of all, what's the need that you exist to fulfill in the world? What are you going to make different? Secondly, we're going to do a SWOT. Where he is right now, that stands, of course, as you know, for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and see what information that tells us about the natural things that he can build on, or what does he need to guard against as he puts his business together. Who is his target market? And then we get down to what is his value proposition. And if you look down here, I've got three, imagine these as slider scales: quality, cost, and service. You can't do all three. And this, of course, this end is superb. You're the world's best at quality, the world's best in cost, cheapest rather. You're the best in service. You can't do all of those. So based upon the need, right? Based upon what he brings to the game and the group that he thinks he is most likely to serve well, how does he need to move these sliders? We'll get back with you after my meeting with him. So I had that meeting with my friend, and this is the result of what we came up with. Actually, these 2 pages. We spent most of our time talking about, first of all, what was the need. That was what we got into first. Then we moved to looking at the video. Actually, I'll put the link in the description below for the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats video that I put together a few months ago. Many people do SWOT pretty poorly, actually. So I put together something to clarify that for folks. And he and I watched it together so he could get a sense right now what are his strengths as he seeks to start a business, what are his weaknesses, what are his opportunities and threats. And again, watch that video. There's much more detail there on what we mean by each of those terms. So then we looked at what is his competition, because as we're seeking to establish our goals, our strategy, to look, even see if it's viable, it's in relation to or in contrast to our competition, right? There's only a few basic strategies, fundamental strategies that Michael Porter talks about. You can either be the absolute best in what you do, you can either be the absolute cheapest in what you do, or you have to differentiate. Okay, and of course that's where most people fall in the mix. So what we're trying to help him figure out is, how does he differentiate himself, and does it actually make sense for him at this point in time to start a consulting business? So anyway, so we looked at what are the results. In fact, at the end of the day, your clients are not buying your services. They're buying what they think your services will get them. They're buying the results of the changed reality on the other hand. So what honestly could he look at and say would be truly different when all was said and done? And then from there, what is his target market, right? We all want to sell to everybody, but the truth is there are some people that are ideally suited to buy what you have, your particular mix. So what is his target market? And we kind of got that down actually to a very particular types of companies, in fact his, that have a very poor safety record in the utility industry. Those would be the ideal folks that would go for what he has to offer. And then what we did, and what we're trying to do, so let me see if I can get it down here where you can see it. Value proposition. So many companies, that is large and small, don't really understand what their value proposition is. And in short, it's the services that you have You're going to them and saying, company, target market, these services that I provide will produce these results at these levels of quality, efficiency, and service. Now, that what you got to make those pieces line up together. One thing that I did, this is the first time that I've done this, but it actually worked out pretty well. It was to put 3 sliders down and to look at the different aspects as you think about your strategy, your value proposition, what makes you unique. You can't, I haven't figured out how to do this. You can't be literally in your industry the best and the cheapest providing the most superior service. This is where you do your trade-offs, and you've got to be able to distinguish yourself in offering something different relative to your competition. So what we did is we put the sliders for quality, efficiencies, and service down. Then this end is meant to be absolute tops. And then what we did is we said, okay, so let's place some of your competitors, some of the people that you say, these people also play in the space that I'm going to have to somehow differentiate myself from. Where do they fall on these particular metrics? And then where do I fall relative to them? And if you put it all together, what you've got to ask yourself is, does that value proposition make sense? With what you know about your target market, do the services, and here's the services that he provides, right? We came up with that list of services. Do the services that you provide at these levels of quality, efficiency, and customer service, that's really what that's meant to be, will they provide these results? You've got to ask yourself, does that all make sense? And is that attractive? Would that be attractive to a buyer? Long and short, it took about an hour and a half. He was smarter about his business. He was smarter about his business landscape. He was able to begin to formulate the strategies and to begin to think, what did he need to do to increase his own capabilities? We didn't even get, you saw some blanks on markets and service, marketing and sales. We didn't even get to that. We didn't have time for it. But he gleaned enough in that to know that right now, the best space for him is to continue to work within while he builds his internal capability. He figures in another couple of years that he'll be able to step into and create a sound consulting firm at that point.